Hi, I'm Jeff Abrams, Technical Communications Manager for Clarion. I want to thank you for being a Clarion AutoPC dealer and embarking on our new technology. This tape is not designed to replace the instruction manual. I really highly recommend that you do read it, but it's really going to help you in the installation and setup of the AutoPC. So without further ado, why don't we just get right down to it. Before we turn the unit on, there's a couple of things that we want to touch on just to make sure that to double check all the installation wiring, to make sure you have good grounds, to make sure that the constant hot and the switched hot are all located in the right positions. And the most important thing of all is to remember not to plug in the NiCad battery backup or the coin cell in the actual unit prior to wiring in the constant hot. You don't want to do that, otherwise you can drain all the batteries, and it will definitely affect the system when it first boots up. Application and placement of the mic is critical for voice recognition, and it needs to be mounted to a surface that is bigger than the actual microphone itself. So you can see this is the microphone, and we have it mounted onto the headliner of this vehicle, and the headliner actually helps direct the sound to the mic. If you try to mount the mic in areas where you would normally mount, say, hands-free microphones, it's not going to work as well because there's not a good boundary in the corners of the windshield. To fold down the face, you would just grab it in the middle, put your thumb underneath and your fingers on the top, pull out with your thumb and push down with your fingers. The face will easily fold down. To fold the face back up, just put your finger right in the middle and just push up and in, and the face will fold right back in. The easiest way to remove the faceplate is the removal button right here. And basically what you're going to do is you're going to push down on the button, you're going to grab the left side of the face and just pull it off towards you. And then to reinstall, the left side goes in first, make sure it clicks into the corner, and it just locks into place. Once you've got everything wired up, and once you've got everything checked out to make sure the wiring is proper, you would go and cold boot the system. And to do that, you're going to need to make what we call a little cold boot tool, which is basically unwrap a paper clip. What you're going to do is you're going to put one side of the paper clip in the warm boot slot and the other one in the cold boot location right there. And what you're going to do is you're going to press both of them together for over 2 seconds and then release. That will cold boot the system. You have to do that when you first install it, because what that does is no matter what you happen to do as you were installing it, it will automatically take the microprocessor and reset everything back to original factory parameters. Then you can go ahead and start doing your programming. But remember, always cold boot the system first before you try to program it. In case your system happens to hang up or stop responding while it's trying to locate a program, or you're in a program and it stops responding to others, there is a way short of actually disconnecting all the power to the system to reboot it. And that's basically what we call a warm reboot. And to do that, you would just lower your face down like so, and there is a little button right next to the eject button. And you can use a pen or a very small object and just lightly push in on there. You can actually feel this little switch click. And what you would do is just push it and hold for 2 seconds while the system is on. And what will happen is the display will blank out, and then after about 20 seconds it will come back on again, and the system should work just fine. Before we get into the actual programming of the AutoPC, I think it's probably a good idea to talk about what the function buttons actually do on the face. The most important one you're going to be using most of the time is the alpha button. And what this allows you to do is to scroll up and scroll down, as well as scroll left and right. As you're programming the unit, there'll be times when it'll say press enter, and enter is just press the center button. And on the ring surrounding this are your volume up and volume down. So this gives you a manual way to increase or decrease your volume. Also, at the very top of the ring is your mute button. This allows you to mute the audio if you need to answer a phone call, you want to carry on other conversations. Obviously, the power button turns the unit on and off. The back button will put you back into the original program. So let's say you're going in to do tone control adjustments while you're listening to the radio. By using the back button, it will put you back into your initial program. The help button, by pressing it, will give you a help menus option in any program you happen to be in. So if you're listening to, say, the CD, pressing help will bring information up on screen that pertains to how the CD part of the system works. By pressing menu, it will put you into the menu access for each individual program. Usually an audio program, putting in the menu will allow you to adjust the audio functions such as balance, fader, tone, equalization. It'll also allow you to set your preset volume settings for your voice control. If you're in another mode other than audio, by pressing menu, it'll bring you into a menu column for selections of programming. This Windows key will allow you to go in and see all your icons and then scroll from program to program. So you would use this instead of actually using voice control. And we'll show you how that works when we turn the unit on. By pressing the V Memo, this will automatically put you into Voice Memo, which is a digital recording program, which allows you to record up to 3 minutes of audio to be saved, and you can either transport it on to your Palm Top or laptop because it records as a WAV file. The assist button is for the optional assist module and your cell phone module. By pressing this button, it will automatically connect you to the assist operator. So if you needed emergency information or navigational information or information on points of interest in an area, you would use the assist button to get direct access to that program. And then you have your keypad over here. You'll notice it's from 1 to 0 with a pound and a star. Now, the keypad does a lot of features. It allows you to preset and select stations. You can also use it to pre-select tracks on your CD. You can also use it to direct enter alphanumeric information into your address book, as well as being able to direct select FM or AM stations. So the keypad plays a pretty important part in your selection. Also, at the very end is the compact flash card slot. This is your compact flash card. You'll notice that there is a connector side, and then there are 2 slots on either side of that. To make sure you're putting this flash card in properly, there's always going to be a label side and a back side. And on the label side is going to be an arrow showing the insertion direction. So you always want to have your compact flash with the label facing, the top label facing away, and the arrow facing the slot. And the card will slide in on the rails that are built into the slot, and you just push it all the way in until there's no more resistance, and you're done. And to remove the compact flash, you would fold down the face, just reach into the top and just pull it straight out. So now we're ready to turn the unit on, and what we're going to talk about is we're going to go through this step by step, basically following the AutoPC instruction manual. So the first thing we want to do is have the ignition turn on. We want the unit to come on. So the first thing you're going to notice is when the unit's off and your ignition's on, you're always going to have your clock display. So first thing you want to do is press your power button. The AutoPC will automatically remember what its last operating mode was. So if you turn it off when it's on the radio, obviously it's going to come back up in the radio mode. Well, the most exciting part of the AutoPC actually is the voice recognition and the voice commanding. Now, the AutoPC requires a wake-up word, and the reason we've done this is so that when you're listening to music, command words that happen to come up in music or voice will not automatically turn the AutoPC on and put it into a voice command mode. So in order to go into the AutoPC, the initial command word is AutoPC.
Radio.
And then you can then give various commands. Once you've read through the instruction manual and you've learned the key voice command words or the operating words, let's say you forget what the operating commands are for the individual program you're in. It's very easy to have the AutoPC actually read back all the operating commands that you can use. AutoPC.
Radio.
What can I say?
The command words are AM, next, previous, preset, radio, CD player, directions, address book, messages, voice memo, read, volume, help, what time is it, what can I say, AutoPC.
It also has a help menu. So if you've forgotten various programming in each individual operating mode, you can press the help button. And basically you can cycle through to ask how you can do various functions. So let's say we wanted to remember how to seek for a station. So you could hit enter. And the nice part about this is you can have the AutoPC read the instructions to you. For instance, if you wanted to read instructions, because it has text-to-speech conversion, you can say, AutoPC.
Seek for a station.
Read.
Seek for a station. Say next or previous or press the left or right arrow keys.
And the AutoPC will be able to read all the information to you. So if you ever forget key operating procedures, by going into the help mode, it will automatically tell you keywords. Now, when you want to leave the help mode, just press the back button and it will put you back to the radio. You can also go in and actually program help as one of the keywords and it will automatically read everything back to you, which we'll get to when we go to setup. So now you see how easy it is to use voice commands, but you're probably wondering, do I have to train the AutoPC to learn my voice? No. As it comes from the factory, it will learn and recognize any Native American accent, which basically means you can go in and start using it immediately. However, you can voice train it by going through all the key command words and it will ask you to repeat them in your voice. And basically what that will allow you to do is to make the recognition even more precise to your own voice. And then you're probably asking yourself, well, what happens if I have a convertible and I'm tooling down the road at 50 miles an hour and I've got the radio pretty loud? Is it going to recognize my voice? Most likely it will. If it does not, we also have a push-to-talk button which can be mounted conveniently next to you on your console or anywhere within push-button range. By pushing that button, the push-to-talk button will automatically take the place of saying the command word or the turn-on word or the wake-up word like AutoPC. So once the button is pushed,
radio,
you're now in the command mode and you can give it operating instructions. So if the AutoPC cannot hear the wake-up word AutoPC, you can use the push-to-talk button to override that. So you have two different options to wake the system up. So we are now in the radio mode. It's very easy to use this. You have different ways to tune your stations. First off, you can use the auto seek function. By pressing your alpha button to the right, it will automatically seek up and find stronger stations. When it does, it will automatically lock on and find them. Or you can use manual entry. And basically how you manually enter a station frequency is very simple. You press the pound key, the display will blank, and then you press in the frequency of the station you want to listen to, and it will automatically tune to that frequency. So that way it allows you to either have a seek tune or a manual entry. Now what we want to do is we want to make a custom file for the system. What does that mean? That means everything is cool, but you want to add a preset station. How can we do that? Well, it's very simple. The first thing we want to do is find a station we might like to add into our memory. And we can program in 10 FM stations by voice tag and 10 AM stations by voice tag. So let's say we want to program in K-Earth, which is a local oldie station here in Los Angeles. The easiest way to do that would be to hit your pounds and then press the direct entry, which is 101.1. Now, we want to preset that on number 5. And to make that work is very simple. Just hold in the preset button for more than 2 seconds. Your preset will then light up and say preset 5, and you've just put that into memory. Now you don't have to go any farther than that, so every time you would press preset number 5, 101.1 would come up. But there's a way to custom voice tag the system. And what we want to do is go into Menu, and then it's going to ask you to scroll through all your options. We want to edit your preset station, and what we want to do is we want to record a station name for preset number 5. Well, the call sign of the station happens to be K-Earth, and that's what we're going to record. So when you press the Enter button, it will say the command word 3 times at the tone prompt. And what you're going to do is press Enter and follow the instructions. K-Earth. 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 Then a little check mark will come up and say your custom command was successfully recorded. So then you would go back, and now your station name has a voice tag. But let's say you want to actually title this station. You can go back into Menu, you can go back to your Edit Preset Stations, you've recorded a station name, but now you want to enter the name along with it. So what you do is press Enter, and then you can see you have an option of entering up to 7 or 8 characters. So we have an option. We can either use the alpha to enter a station name, or we can use the keypads. Now the keypads will give you both combinations and numbers and letters. So let's try it with different ways. The first way we're going to do is with the actual alpha. So by scrolling up, we'll advance letter by letter. So the first thing we're going to go to is obviously K for K-Earth. The next thing we want to do is move to the next box. So left and right scrolls, moves you left and right, and up and down will enable you to select letters or numbers. So the next one we want to go to is K-E-R-T-H. So we want, actually, the way the call sign works is K-R-T-H. So we're going to go to R. Now, let's go to the keypad, and we're going to enter T and H that way. First, we'll move our scroll bar over, and then we're going to go and use our keypad until we can enter K-Earth. So K-R, and we want T. And you notice it moves over automatically, and then we're going to go over here and we're going to enter H. So K-R-T-H is our call sign. Press Enter, and it confirms. And when you go to escape, you'll now notice that K-Earth is now on memory. Now, to call up a preset station is very simple. We would say AutoPC,
radio,
preset, K-Earth. And you notice it's now voice tagged it, and you've gone directly to K-Earth. You can also ask it to come up by using a preset number. So let's say we wanted to go to preset number 4. We can say AutoPC,
radio,
preset 4. You notice preset 4 has now come up, which is also voice tagged as KLOS. So you have different ways to navigate around. You can also go by direct, just by pressing any one of the preset buttons that you've entered. So now you've seen how to tune your radio, how to preset a preset area, how to voice tag for voice memo, and also how to enter a station title. There is one other thing that you can do while you are listening to the AutoPC. Obviously, we talked about having manual up-down volume. You also can use a voice tag to move your volume to one of 3 preset volume levels. For instance, AutoPC,
radio,
volume, loud. You see you have a volume tag that comes up. We'll go into a little bit later when we go into setup. We'll show you how to adjust your preset volume levels to 3 different areas. They are factory preset initially, but you can then change your difference between loud, normal, and quiet. AutoPC,
radio,
volume, normal. So you can see how that will change your volumes. AutoPC,
radio,
preset 5. So you can see how easy it is to navigate through the tuner section. Now, Let's say you're listening to their FM and you want to adjust the tone controls. You want to adjust your balance or your fader. It's very simple. You would hit Memo and then Audio Settings. And this allows you to go into your basic audio settings. And you can do this in any audio mode, whether it's listening to a CD or listening to the radio. The first option it gives you is bass. So you can adjust your bass up or down anywhere from plus or minus 12 dB, and you have a graphic representation of that. Your next option is treble, same way. Right increases, left decreases. Then you have 3 equalizer presets. This is very interesting. What you can do with this is actually a 10-band digital graphic equalizer. And you can go in and custom preset 3 different equalization curves. You can do one for, say you listen to classical music a lot, and you also listen to rock, and then you listen to the CD. You can use 3 different equalizer settings and preset 3 different equalization curves depending on the kind of music you're listening to. And it's very simple. It tells you what exact frequency that you're going to adjust, and by moving your control up or down allows you to adjust the kind of frequency boost or cut that you want. And you have 10 different bands that you can adjust it in. And when you're finished, you hit escape and it remembers your equalization curve. And there are 3 curves that you can actually go in and modify and set up as your own. It also allows you to adjust your left to right balance, your front to rear fade. It also allows you to turn your loudness on and off. Now your loudness is a boost. If you listen at lower listening levels, it will automatically boost the lows and the highs to compensate for the ear's lack of being able to hear them at lower volumes. And then your volume presets. This allows you to go in and set exactly the volume level that you want your 3 presets. You have quiet, you have normal, and you have loud. And you can set those anywhere from 0 to 33. 0 being off and 33 being the loudest. To get out of that, you press back, and it will put you back into the main adjust menu. And then you're right back where you were before. After you've made all your adjustments, you press back and you're back to your listening program. Now there are ways to get between the various programs. You can either use a voice command or you can use the Windows key. And we'll show the voice command first because the next section we're going to talk about is the CD. So the next voice command you would use would be AutoPC,
radio,
CD player. This brings you directly into the CD. Now the other way you can navigate between programs is to use the Windows key, which gives you a
CD player,
graphic icon representation of every program that's in the system. Now once you've pressed the button, it now puts you into the icons, and you can scroll from program to program just by moving
address book,
left or right.
audio, setup, messages, voice memo, radio.
And when we found the actual program we want to be in, just press enter and it puts you directly into the program. So you see there are 2 different ways that you can actually move from program to program, but we're going to use the voice command. AutoPC,
radio,
CD player, Now, on the CD player itself, there is a basic CD in the unit. What's nice about it is not only will it read audio CDs, but it'll also read CD-ROM programming disks, which will be for navigation or other programming information. If you have a changer plugged into this as an option, it will also play music in the 6-disc changer. So if we only had our single disc installed, you would see one single disc icon right here. And that single disc icon would show you that you have one disc playing. If you went into the changer, which we'll get to in a second, there'll be a multiple disc icon to show you that you're in the changer. Now the display you will see here is obviously the number of the track and the time, and also this little bar right here, which is your play pause bar. You can press your enter button and shift between play or pause. You can also use voice commands. AutoPC,
CD player,
pause, play, next. That moves your track up one. Previous, that moves it back one. So by voice commands, you can command the basic functions of this. You can move tracks up and down. You can change your volume. You can also put it into play pause through voice commands. You can also do exactly the same thing by using the alpha button. By going to the right, we'll move your track up. By going to the left, we'll move your track down. If you have discs in the changer, to access the changer, you would say AutoPC,
CD player,
disc. If your changer is connected, you will now see that you have a multiple disc icon on the face. This tells you you're now in the changer mode. And what this allows you to do is now access up to 6 discs in your changer. So you're probably wondering, so how do I go from disc to disc? It's very simple. You have 2 different ways to do it. You can use a voice command, AutoPC,
CD player,
disc, and it will advance to the next disc by voice command. You can also use the alpha control to do that. By moving the alpha up, we'll advance discs one at a time. By moving the alpha down, we'll bring your disc the other way. There's about a 10 to 12 second delay time while it finds a disc, and as soon as the number and time comes up, you'll know that the disc is ready for play. Now, the bars on the side will tell you your volume levels. As your volume goes up, you notice the bars get, more and more of the bars are lit. So this gives you your basic idea of your overall volume. AutoPC.
CD player,
Play. Now there's another nice feature in the CD itself that you can go into your menu, and it allows you to not only do your audio setups, but it allows you to set this to random playback. Random playback is very interesting in the way it works. If you're using a single disc without a changer, the random playback will give you the option of being able to play random tracks in various orders from your disc that is in the actual AutoPC. If you have a changer connected, when you go into random playback, it will random play all discs. So in other words, it could start with track 1 on disc 1 and then go to track 4 on disc 3. It's a total random playback. So it allows you to go and do a random playback. It also allows you to change your display from either track elapsed or track remaining or disc remaining. So it gives you various different ways that you can display your time. For instance, we'll look at track remaining. The track remaining display actually counts backwards. So instead of it going up, it goes down, so you can see how much time is left. Or you can also look at disc remaining. So when you go to that display, it tells you how much time is left on the total disc. So you can see time remaining on each track, time remaining on the disc, or a countdown. That's just some interesting ways that you can actually look at the display. Now, the next option it allows you is disc playback. And what this does is it allows you to select tracks that you want to hear. So if you've got a disc that just got one turkey song on it, but the rest are all really good, you can go find the track that you don't want to listen to and hit enter. It will automatically delete that track from the playback. It's only going to play back track 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay? If you want to put the track back in, just press enter again and it comes back up. Now the unique part about the AutoPC is it will remember the track programming for each disc that you've ever done it to, for up to 100. So even if you were to take that disc out of your changer and then put it back in 6 months later, it will remember the playback listing that you originally set up. You can also obviously go in and do all of your audio adjustments from the AutoPC, as well as going into your help menu, and it will be able to tell you exactly what you need to do if you forget your key commands. And that basically tells you all you need to know about the CD portion. Now the address book is very unique. The address book allows you to store your most used information in a book. Kind of like your little day runner portfolio, only it's electronic. It will enable you to put in addresses, phone numbers, birth dates, cell phone numbers, pager numbers. There's all different information you can put in. Why is this important? Well, if you're on the go and you need information, instead of having to pull over to the side of the road and look through your business cards or your contact book, you can enter all that information into the AutoPC and actually ask for it. For instance, if I wanted to list everything that was in my AutoPC, I would say, AutoPC,
Address book.
list.
Your address book entries are Beverly Abrams, Jeff Abrams, Albert, Jack D. Biasio, Ralph Engelbrecht, Office Update, Linda Wilson, Don Wong.
This allows you to find out exactly what's in your address book, or you can obviously scroll manually to find an entry in your address book. If the letter is lit up, it will tell you that there's a address book entry under that. You can also tag your address book entries by name so that you can actually say AutoPC,
Address book.
select, read,
Don Wong. First name, Don.
next,
Last name, Wong.
next,
Address, 661 West Redondo Beach Boulevard.
next,
City, Gardena.
next,
State, CA.
next,
Postal, 90247.
next,
Country, United States of America.
next,
Work phone, 310-217-4386.
Now here's where the address book comes in handy. With the optional cell phone cradle and auto dialer, it makes life very easy because you can actually take any phone number out of the address book and have the phone dial it for you. Now, obviously, since there's no dialer in this car, I'll show you how this works. AutoPC,
Address book.
dial.
No
It's-
phone installed.
Now, if there was a phone installed, it would automatically be dialing the phone number, and when it did, as soon as the phone connected, it would automatically switch the AutoPC from whether you were listening to music or a CD or navigation. It would automatically mute whatever you were listening to and turn the AutoPC into a total hands-free cellular phone. You would be able to talk into the mic and listen to the audio from your cell phone through the AutoPC speakers. Let's say we wanted to add a name into our address book. Make it very simple. The first thing you'd want to do is go into your menu, and it gives you options. We want a new entry. So the first thing it says is enter first and last name, which we can do. Now, here's where it gets very interesting. You have different choices again to enter. You can either use the alpha control or you can use the keypad. We'll make it real simple. We'll enter Al. One, and we'll spell out one. So we can use the keypad to enter that information. You can see how you can cycle through. So we just added Al1 to our address book. And when you press enter, it says it's recorded the contact name. So now when you take a look at it, your Al1 has been added to the address book. But basically all you've done so far is added Al1. You haven't added any of the information yet. What you need to do is you need to go back and select our Al1 to add the rest of the information. And we're going to select our Al1 because it actually goes by your last name. So we're going to enter Al1 and we're going to go in, and you're going to notice that all it says is just last name. There's no address or anything. First thing, we're going to record a contact name. We'll make this very simple. So we're going to push enter, and we're going to do the same thing we did with our voice commands for the FM. Al. 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 Now we've custom commanded Al, and we can go back and use that later on. But what we want to do is we want to edit all fields. So when you go into the edit all fields mode, it allows you to add information. For instance, you can add a company name, you can add an address. So to add an address, you would hit enter, and by using the keypad you can select your numbers. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, and it will move a space. And then if you want to move another space, to add a space to it, you can just hit your pound sign. And we're going to just put 1, 2, 3 main, so we can use the alpha scroll for this. You also notice that you can go through small letters. By backing up, it'll bring your uppercase and lowercase. So we want to enter Main Street. And then we'll just finish it up by using the keypad, moving over one field. We've entered Main Street. So when we're finished, we've entered his address. You can now add other addresses to it. You can add phone numbers, you can add city. You can do everything you need to do simply by scrolling through all the fields. And then we'll also allow you to add work phones, fax numbers, email addresses, his company title, and depending upon where you are, it allows you to add different phone numbers, different work numbers, his mobile phone, his car number, his home phone, any numbers that you want. You can also go in and specify what number, when you call this up, that you want to first come up for your key number for dialing Al. So if we wanted to set the work phone for his key dial, we could do that. So now that you've got everything entered, Al1 is now there. And we've voice tagged him, and at any time we can always bring him up by voice tag. So you can see how easy it is to enter information through the actual text by scrolling, and by either using the alpha button or by using your keypad. It's very easy to enter information into this. Now that we've tagged Al1 as one of our entries, you can automatically pull that voice tag up by saying AutoPC,
Address book.
locate Al.
AL1.
So just find Al1. And again, when we were talking earlier about forgetting commands or not remembering how to do things, the easiest way to do that is you can program the AutoPC to respond to the word help. So you can say AutoPC,
Address book.
help.
To go to a name with a custom command, say locate and then the custom command. To go to a different name, say next or previous. To open the address card, say select. To call the selected person, say dial. To read the list of names, say list. To go to a letter tab, say letter and then say a letter.
So you can see that you can always bring up the help library, and that will enable you to remember all the custom commands. What we want to do now is we want to use our palm top to put address information into the AutoPC, and it's really simple. What you need to do is go to Menu, and then go to Receive, and hit Enter. Now what we need to do is just put Send on our infrared device, and as soon as it finds the device, it will then automatically load all the information in. You can also transmit information from the AutoPC into your palm top. So if you've entered any information manually into the AutoPC, you can update your palm top, and you would just do the reverse. You would go into Transmit rather than Receive. You go to Send, and then you pick the address that you want to send, and then in your palm top you would set it for Receive, and they would sync and automatically transmit. If you find that you're having trouble sending the infrared information between your handheld PC and the AutoPC, what you can do is go into Setup,
Audio setup.
Go to infrared and change the speed from either slow to fast or fast to slow, depending upon what setting you had before. That should really help get the proper transmission speed set. And then you can try again to resend the information. Okay, now that we've got the address book mastered, the next thing we want to move on to is directions. AutoPC.
Address book.
Directions. And the first thing we'll ask us for is the actual navigation disk. So when it says Insert Map CD, we're going to take our disk, fold the faceplate down, and insert the navigation disk into the face and then fold the face back up. And now it's going to ask how we want to set our start. We have different choices. We can either set it from a GPS location, and if you have the system with the GPS receiver, it will automatically pick up where you are, or you can start from your last destination, which basically enables you to continuously navigate from place to place, so it automatically will know your start location. Or you can start from a street address, from a point of interest, or from an intersection. Or you can even start from an address in the address book. Or you can even start from a Pocket Streets information. Pocket Streets is a Windows CE operating program that's actually a smaller version of Windows Streets, and it has mapping information available. But for our current demonstration, we're going to start from a street address. So we want to enter where we are right now, and the first thing it's going to ask you for is the start city. And what we want to do is we want to start from Gardena, which is where we happen to be right now, and it enables you to cycle through until you find your start city. Press enter. Then we want to set the street. Now what it's doing is it's searching its ad database on every street that's in Gardena. And what we want to do is we want to go to, we're on West Redondo Beach Boulevard, and we press enter. And then it's going to ask you to enter a street address, which is going to be very simple. So we're just going to enter 661 and hit enter. So now it knows we're going to start from 661 West Redondo Beach Boulevard, Gardena, California. You could have also used your satellite receptor to have it start from your GPS location. So now what we want to do is we want to set the destination. Now we have choices. We can go to a street address, we can go to a point of interest, we can go to an intersection. It'll ask you for the intersection of two streets, or we can also pick a name out of the address book, or we can even use Pocket Streets. But for instance here, what we want to do is use our point of interest database. The first thing it's going to ask you for is a destination city. And what we want to do is we want to go to our favorite restaurant in Redondo Beach. So what we're going to do is we're going to scroll to our favorite area in Redondo Beach, and we're going to find that city and hit enter. And now what it's doing is it's going to run through its entire database of points of interest in Redondo Beach. And it has it categorized by banks, ATMs, hotels, restaurants, gas stations, hospitals, etc., etc., etc. What we want to do is we want to go and find our favorite restaurant. So we're going to go to restaurant and hit enter. And then it's going to come up with the database of all the restaurants that are available in Redondo Beach by alphabet. And you can see each letter that's lit up has information. So I want to go to California Noodle Cuisine, California Pizza Kitchen. You hit enter, and what it's going to do, it now says, okay, California Pizza Kitchen's on 1815 Hawthorne Boulevard in Redondo Beach. Now, here's where it gets good. It will now start calculating directions. This may take 2 or 3 or 4 minutes while it searches its database. So the first instructions come up and it says proceed west on West Redondo Beach Boulevard. Now, to get the next instruction, you would say AutoPC.
Directions.
Next.
In 3.5 miles, turn left onto Prairie Avenue.
So you notice a couple of things. The first thing is it gives you a mileage tag. So it tells you how far you're going to need to go to that area. It also gives you a directional turn arrow. So it shows you whether it's going to be a cross street or a diagonal street or more than one street, and it gives you an idea of where you need to turn. So let's say we've gone our 3.5 miles, we've got the prairie, and we've made our left. And we're going to say AutoPC.
Directions.
Next.
In 3/10 of a mile, turn right onto Artesia Boulevard.
So we've gone our 3/10 of a mile, and we say AutoPC.
Directions.
Next.
In half a mile, turn left onto Hawthorne Boulevard.
Okay, we've turned left. Next.
Destination ahead on right in 1/10 of a mile.
Next.
You have arrived at your destination.
So it gives you your destination, again, and the address to confirm. Now the nice part about this is it gives you a mileage tag, so it tells you how far you're going to go between turn indicators, or waypoints as we like to call them. The other thing is that you can call up information. Let's say you couldn't get the information. You can always ask it to repeat. AutoPC.
Directions.
Previous.
Destination ahead on right in 1/10 of a mile.
Previous.
In half a mile, turn left onto Hawthorne Boulevard.
So it lets you navigate from point to point. So as you can see, the nav system, the directions program, is very, very simple to use. All it requires is the navigation disc. There's 9 different discs available throughout the country, and that will cover you in your local areas. The next thing we want to talk about is our messages capability with the AutoPC. If we had what we call a Q module interface to this, this will allow you to get information, whether it be news, sports, weather, traffic information, or even email in the vehicle. This program will allow you to do that. And to get there, all we need to do is say AutoPC.
Directions.
Messages.
Messages are loading.
Now, this allows you to pick up different messages. You can actually receive email in your vehicle. The Q module works on what we call FM push technology, kind of like how pagers work. And it allows you to receive information such as the first 2 or 3 lines of email, or you can also receive alphanumeric paging. So if you have an alphanumeric pager, they can actually page you in the AutoPC.
Messages.
Read.
Email, no messages.
News.
News, no messages.
Traffic.
Traffic, no messages.
If we were actually on the messages program and an email message came in, the AutoPC will actually beep at you. And the neat part about how this all works is the message will actually come up as text on screen. And you can just say AutoPC read, and it will automatically read the text to you. That way you never have to take your eyes off the road or your hands off the wheel. It's very safe. Also, if there's any traffic updates, it will also beep to tell you that there's a traffic update. And then you can say AutoPC.
Messages.
Traffic.
Traffic, no messages.
And if there was traffic information in your locality and you set it up to receive local traffic information, it will automatically give you, within 2 minutes of an actual report of an accident, that will come up on screen and it will read any information to you. So that's the messages system. It's very unique and there's nothing else like it. So you're probably wondering how you receive an email in the vehicle. Well, it's pretty simple. There is a tag that goes on your normal email, and it would be when you actually get your email set up, there's an email tag that goes with it. And how people would find you in your vehicle is they would send a message to your standard email address and then put dot and then put your special message tag, whatever it happened to come up with. Let's say it happened to be AutoPC. They would send something to me. They could say Jeff Abrams at clarionnet.com.autopc.com, and it will automatically send me a message both at my office and on my AutoPC at the same time. Therefore, I have a choice of where I want to pick up the message. And also there's a pager option that you can purchase so that if you're away from the AutoPC and you're paged, it can page both the AutoPC and a pocket pager at the same time. So that gives you a little bit of information about how the actual message system works. Now, the next portion that we want to go to is actually setup, which actually could make or break the ease of how the system works and all the options. And to go to setup,
Messages.
we will do this manually.
Setup.
And you can see you have your little setup icon, you press enter, and it puts you into the setup mode. Setup is where you can adjust everything you need to adjust on the AutoPC. This is where you can customize it to recognize your voice. You can change your icon locations on the screen. You can move your programs around. This is where you do your backup of information. This is where everything that has to do with the computer portion of the AutoPC takes place. So the first thing you can do is it can give you information about your AutoPC. It can give you the copyright information. It could also tell you your memory information. Right now it's telling me I have 16 megs of RAM in this unit, which is maximum memory capability. It will also tell you your power systems. If there's any problems, it will tell you if your coin cell battery is low, if your backup battery is low, if your main battery is good. And the main battery is actually the voltage in the vehicle. So this can actually do a voltage check on the car battery to tell you if in fact you have a low voltage situation. So it can help in troubleshooting. If there's problems with the AutoPC, by going into the power mode, you can tell if it's a battery issue, and it tells you what battery to look at. It also gives you system information. For instance, it will tell you what processor you have, and it also tell you if you have a compact flash card plugged in and how much memory is in that flash card. It will also tell you what version we're looking at. And why is that important? Well, it's important because the AutoPC is an evolving program. And working with Microsoft, you will be able to upgrade your operating system. Now, the next thing we want to look at is backing up and restoring. Now, this is very important. The reason you want to back up and or restore is if you ever lose battery power and the backup batteries go flat, you will lose everything that you ever had in here as far as memory is concerned. Also, when you upgrade the operating system, it removes whatever product information you had in there. So that means your address book information is gone. So what we highly recommend that you do is always, always, always back up your information on the AutoPC. And what you would do is you would be using a compact flash card, which looks just like this. And what we're going to do is show you how to do a backup and restore feature. So when you're going to take your compact flash and you're going to install it and push it into your compact flash slot and push it until it stops. You can feel a little resistance and then it will stop. And first off, we want to back it up. And now you push enter for backup, and it's going to ask you if you want to erase the old backup. And yes, we want to erase the old backup and replace it with a new one. You hit enter, and the first thing it's going to tell you is it's saving its backup data. Now, whatever you do while it's doing this, whether it's upgrading the OS or saving backup data, you never, ever, ever, ever want to turn the unit off, because if you do, you will crash the operating system and its service time. And basically, if you take a look at this, it looks just like a backup screen on your computer. It now says backup successful. You hit OK, and you're ready to go. And it will now take you out of backup. At that point in time, you would open up the screen, you'd reach in, and you would remove your compact flash card. And what we'd highly recommend that you do is keep this in a safe place. So if you ever want to restore the system, you would take your compact flash, and you would go to your backup restore menu, push in your compact flash, and then you'd push enter, and then you want to go back to restore. Then you press enter, and then it's going to ask if you want to reboot and replace the information on the system. What we're going to do is we're going to say yes. And this is what's going to happen. The machine's going to reboot. When it reboots, it will shut off. And when it shuts off, the first thing it's going to do before it does anything else is going to download all the memory information from that flash card. And you notice it says restoring backup data. Do not turn off the system, because if you do, you're going to have the same problem you did if you were backing the system up. It's going to crash. So remember, don't turn off the system. Make sure you have good batteries. You should be ready to go. Now the machine's going to reboot. We're going to hit OK. So now that you're done, we backed up our system. We're going to pull out the compact flash and we're ready to go. So now we've done our backup and restore. The next feature it allows you to do is set the clock. Obviously, the only thing that it will not remember when you back up the system is the time, because obviously the time will change between the time you asked it to back it up and the time you restored it. So if you want to adjust the time, you would hit enter. Now, this next thing, when it says activate in, this allows you to set your screen so it can show a clock display. So if you don't want it to ever show a clock display, you set it for never. Or you can set it in increments of where it will show the normal operating display, and let's say after 90 seconds it'll revert back to the clock. So the next thing we want to look at is, do we want to adjust for daylight savings time? If you allow it to adjust for daylight savings time, when the time changes, the display will come up and say, we've changed your time based on daylight savings time. It will automatically update your clock function. Now, the next thing you want to do is set the date. Hit enter, and you're going to see a screen come up with all the dates. And obviously what we want to do is we want to set the date. Today is November 20th. So you would cycle down till you get to the 20th, and it's obviously 1998, and then hit your escape button. You just set the date. The next thing it's going to ask, set the time. We're going to enter, and obviously it starts at 12 midnight. So it is now, actually, it's 12:01 p.m. So what we're going to do is we're going to move it over to here. We're going to go back down to 12:01 p.m. Hit escape. You just set your time. The style, default. That means it's an automatic clock style. Also, you can set different time zones. What time zone you're in, it will automatically update and keep you in your time zone. Now, the next feature is contrast. And by entering contrast, this allows you to adjust the level of contrast on your display for the most pleasing look for you. And you can see that the contrast levels change as you move. The next adjustment is for GPS. By pressing this button, it will tell you how many satellites you have. First off, it'll verify you have a GPS receiver. The next thing it will automatically try to do is find how many satellites. So you can see that there are no satellites found. If we were outside in an area where we could actually pick up satellites, it can give you up to 6 different satellites. In case you ever have any problems with asking it to start from a GPS location and it keeps coming back going, I can't find anything, by going to GPS here, it will verify that your receiver is working. Now, infrared allows you to set the speed of the infrared port. This allows you to do synchronization with your palm top or handheld PC. And you can synchronize how fast the speed of the port will run. Basically, I would always leave it on slow to guarantee perfect transmission. Messages, this allows you to set various message details. For instance, it will give you your carrier details. Since we're not hooked up on a carrier, we don't have one. But if you were on a carrier, it would automatically tell you that your carrier is whoever it happens to be in your local area. That also verifies that your Q receiver is working. This will also tell you what receiver you have and if it's functional at the same time. So obviously we have no receiver and we don't have a signal strength. It'll also allow you to store messages. And this basically sets up how much memory you're going to allocate in the system for operations and how much for storage. The faster you want your system to run, the more memory you have to allocate to the system. So as you can see from this diagram, you can see the little arrows in the yellow bar. Anything to the left of the yellow bar and arrow is memory storage. Anything to the right is operational storage. As you increase your memory storage, you will slow down your system performance. So the key is make sure that you have just enough space in memory to store your most needed messages. And you can adjust simply by moving your alpha control left or right. This will also indicate to give you a warning if your storage for messages are full. They also will give you an email alert, so if an email comes in, no matter what you're listening to, it will automatically beep. Now, you will still be able to receive emails even though your AutoPC is off. it will come on and beep to tell you that you have emails, and then you can go into the messages area and pick them up. It also allows you to turn a news alert. You're driving along and there's something important coming on the news, it'll beep to alert you. And you can also turn your traffic alert on and off. We recommend that you leave it on, especially if you have navigation systems in the vehicle. So this allows you to turn all your alerts on and off. Now, here's a very interesting area, password. And basically by entering a password, the first thing it asks you is to set a password. And after you put the password in, it also allows you to set a voice command for that password. So we'll do that. I've just entered a password into the system. I'm going to hit enter. And then it asks you to confirm it again. And then hit enter. Now it's going to ask you to give a voice command. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to voice command my name. Jeff. 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 Now the nice part about this is the passwords are confirmed and it will start the next time the system is turned off and then turned on. Now when you go into a password protected area, what's going to happen is it's going to ask you for a password, and then you have a choice. The screen will come up and allow you to enter your 4-digit password code, or you can use a voice command. And while you're in the password mode, I could say Jeff, and it will automatically unlock. So unless they knew what your voice command was or knows your passcode, they cannot get any sensitive information off of the system. No address book, no navigation, no voice memo, no email. So that's your protection of the system. Regional setup basically allows you to cycle through different areas. So if you're in Canada, you can cycle through whether it's dollars, Canadian or US. It also allows you to cycle through whether you're gallons or liters of fuel. So basically this allows you to format through different styles, whether you're miles or kilometers, based on the country that you're in. It also allows you to run your date styles. Now, here's a remove program. If you put a program into the system and you decide to remove it because it's either taking up too much memory or you're not going to use it anymore, you can go into the remove program mode. By pressing enter, it'll ask you if you want to remove any specials. Well, we're not going to do this, so I'm going to back out of this. But what it allows you to do is it allows you to remove any program. And by hitting enter, it will ask you, are you sure you want to delete this program? And it gives you an option, just like on your home computer, yes or no, to get out of the program. That's important because if you're running out of space, you can delete lesser used programs and add new programs in their place. Sounds. This allows you to customize the actual computer voice and various sounds of the system to your liking. For instance, you can adjust the computer voice to be louder than, equal to, or softer than the music that or the background music that you're listening to. You can also change the pitch of the AutoPC's voice. Then you can also change the speed. So let's say it's too fast for us, we want to slow it down. So we've done that. Now it can ask you to test.
This is a test of the computer voice. Adjust the pitch and speed until you are satisfied with the sound of the computer voice.
Now it also allows you to set your key feedback. What does that mean? That means how much you have to push the keys in order to get your click. It also allows you to set an overall scheme on the AutoPC. Now what does that mean? You can customize programs. You can customize tactile responses. For instance, you can have the response clicks loud, off, or soft. So you can see when they're off, you don't have responses. You can either have them soft or loud. It also allows you to set alerts on. Basically what an alert is, if a program malfunctions or there's something happening in the computer section of the AutoPC, it will automatically alert you. If you want to hear what the sound sounds like, just press enter. That's your alert tone. Button hold, yes, you want the button hold on. That tells you that the buttons are functioning. Default, that basically warns you if you're trying to do something that is not part of the program. Exclamation, same thing on your computer at home. If there's a problem that crops up, you would hear that. This also tells you when your infrared is working. This is a very good troubleshoot because if you do a lot of infrared transfer, this will automatically tell you when the infrared transfer starts. So that confirms that you're actually transmitting information between either the AutoPC and your handheld or the handheld and the AutoPC. This will also tell you when it's received all the information. It also will tell you if there's something interrupted the infrared stream before it was fully transferred. So you have 3 warnings there. It'll also tell you if you have your message box on. That's what you'd hear if there's a message that crops up in your system. Question: if you're asking the AutoPC to do something that it's not sure what you want, it's your question tone. Also your speech active. That basically allows you to turn on and off the speech response from the AutoPC. If you want to give it auto commands but you don't want the return response, you can turn it off. Also speech confirmation, on and off. That confirms that it actually received your speech. Speech inactive, that tells you when it stopped receiving your speech information. Also startup, this is another key. You can actually turn the startup keyword off. So if you only want to use your button, the push to talk button, you can turn the wake up off. So there'll be no more startup. The next feature that we want to get into is speech commands, and here's where you can actually customize this unit. Now the first thing it's going to go into is global commands. Well, let's say that you're never going to use your messages function. In its place of the global command, you can go from messages to, you can say clock. So if you say clock, it'll automatically show a clock display. Or you can say end to make it end the command string. Or you can say mute, which will automatically mute the audio rather than pushing the button. Or you can say audio, which will put you into the audio programs. Or you can say setup, which will put you into the setup program. Or you can have no response out of that one global command. Now, also allows you to go in and record new commands. So what does that mean? Well, we're going to go in and we want to record a new wake-up word. So we're going to go and we're going to find where it says AutoPC.
Setup.
And we want to change this, so instead of my having to say AutoPC, I can say a different wake-up word. And I want to change my wake-up word to HAL. Well, very simple. Just press enter, and it'll say the command word 3 times at the tone prompt. So we're going to do that. HAL. 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 So what I've done now is I've just told the AutoPC, not only will it recognize AutoPC as a wake-up word, but it's also going to recognize HAL. Also, on audio mute, you can set this to do different mute levels when you give it a command. So you can actually ask this to mute to a full mute where all the music shuts off while you're doing your command words, or have no mute where the music is still playing whatever volume level you had it, or had it as a partial mute, which we prefer because it still gives you the music in the background while you're running your commands. You can also set timeouts, basically how long each key functions. So you can see setup is very valuable to actually customizing the AutoPC to your preferences. Now the next item that we want to talk about is voice memo. Voice memo allows you to make an actual audio recording on the memory sections of the AutoPC. Test 1 2 1 2. Don't forget to pick up milk on the way home from the office. Now we have a voice memo stored in memory. When you want to listen to it, test 1 2 1 2. Don't forget to pick up milk on the way home from the office. So that will keep in memory until you decide to erase it. How you do that, you go into the memo. It will allow you to either set up for record. You can open a message, and if there's various messages, it's going to build the list. That tells me that my first message is there. I'm going to enter that, and it's going to bring me right to the message that I can listen to. And that allows me to listen to my message.
Test 1, 2.
You can also back up, just like on a cassette recorder. You can go forward or backwards, pick the part of the message that you want. It also allows me to go in and lock the message so I can't accidentally erase it. I can also delete the message, or I can rename it. And it also allows me to export it. So what does export mean? Well, this exports this message as a WAV file, which is totally compatible with either Windows 95, Windows 98, Windows 3.1, or Windows CE. And when I'm done with it and I want to save my space on the memory areas, I can hit delete. It's going to ask me if I want to delete Memo 1, and you can see you have a choice, either yes or no. I can say yes, and it will automatically delete the memo. So the voice memo function is very unique, and it's also very handy for doing dictation. Like I said, you can record memos all the way up to 3 to 4 minutes long, but remember, it will take memory out of the system. There are some other questions that we didn't address that are going to come up in the process of installing and or using the AutoPC. The first issue is that we talked about the cell phone interface, and we didn't talk about what phones work with this. And the key issue is that Motorola StarTAC and MicroTAC cellular phones, along with the Ericsson 388 phone, will work with the AutoPC and have available cradles. The only problem is that they're analog-only phones. So you're going to have to tell the customer that if he has a digital phone, it's not going to work in the cradle. So he will be able to have to use an analog phone. But that's really not a problem, because analog phones right now are almost free as a second phone. Not a big thing. The other question that we get a lot is, okay, so now I've got my AutoPC and I want to use my navigation, but the dealer says he doesn't have the nav disk. So how do I get the navigation disk for the system? Well, it's simple. The dealer can supply you with the 800 phone number for Navtech, and all you need to do is call Navtech. They will be able to give you the disk. They'll take your credit card information, and they'll ask you what area that you're in, and they'll make sure that within 2 days you'll have the disk for both the mapping and the basic software install. You'll be able to install that 1, 2, 3, and you'll be on your road. You can either follow the instructions on this videotape, or you can follow the instructions in your manual. Some of the other questions we get asked a lot are, well, we have all these neat accessories, and I really want them all, but what's the best way to install them? Well, what we really recommend is that you install the basic AutoPC system first. If you or your customer knows that they're going to be installing extra add-ons like the Q module or the Vitronics module or the cell phone module, we recommend putting the basic system in first and dropping a USB, the universal serial bus cable, below the unit that you can tuck up in the dash. Then install one component at a time. Therefore, if you get a hang-up when you're installing, you'll be able to isolate the issue with that one add-on piece rather than trying to put it all together first, then fire it up. It's much easier to program the AutoPC piece by piece with each individual add-on component that we're looking at. And also, we didn't touch on the Vitronics module. That module is very interesting. It allows you to interface the AutoPC into your 1996 or later car with what we call OBD2 or Onboard Diagnostics 2. You can recognize that by a port that's underneath the dash of the car. And the Vitronics module interfaces with that port and the AutoPC to give you such information as mileage adjustments, so that if you're a traveling salesman, you can actually run a mileage log. It can keep tabs on your engine computer so you know any impending failures there. Also, what's very neat about it is if you ever get a check engine light, the AutoPC through the Vitronics module will be able to read the trouble codes in your vehicle. Therefore, it'll be able to tell you, or at least tell the dealer, what code cropped up. And last but not least, there'll be an optional program that you can get that will convert the AutoPC's display into a dash gauge cluster and enable you to see the performance of your vehicle. It can run TAC curves and miles per hour curves and braking curves, and it can tell you the overall performance of your vehicle. Well, that just about wraps it up for this edition of the Clarion installation tape for AutoPC. We want to thank you for being an AutoPC dealer, being on the forefront of technology. I know this tape will be able to help you out along with the instruction manual, but if there's other questions that can't be answered, you can always call our tech line at 1-800-366-4567 from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific, Monday through Friday, and 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Pacific on Saturdays. We want to thank you for participating in this program, and until next time, thank you.